We're going to introduce the first block of the day. Project Play is built on a simple idea that kids who play sports do better in life. If you're here today, you get that already. And anyone who plays sports, you absolutely get that. But how do we convince other key decision makers, like principals, policymakers, funders, how do we help them understand? Did you know that the philanthropic sector distributes $500 billion a year to address social problems? But how do we get that sector to see sports as an agent of process? How do we get educators to prioritize things like recess and PE and intramural sports? How do we get legislators to care more about building healthy children and communities through sports?
All really good questions, Kevin. And
We're
our
raising
first
those questions.
block
Yes.
of today actually offers some insights into helping you unlock new funding, policy, and mobilization opportunities. And we know there's been lessons from the pandemic, the mental health crisis among young people, the amount of time spent on screens and the diversion that presents, and the challenges and opportunities also it presents. So how do you make the case to stakeholders, internal and external, that matter to you? And that's what we're going to talk about. And in fact, our next session, as always at the summit, we start with the insights of kids and ask what we can glean from their experience. To lead that first conversation, let me bring in Karie Connor, Nike's Vice President and GM of North America Kids. Karie, come on up. Get it. Go on, go on, go on, go on.
Oh, there you
Thank you, Julie and Kevin. You continue to bring out the energy. I love the hats on the Breakdance Academy. Absolutely amazing. We have a young youth here today also to talk to us from that team. But I wanted to first introduce myself. I'm Karie Connor, and I am the Vice President and General Manager of Nike North America Kids. Also on accessories as well. First of all, I am a brown-skinned woman. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I have long black hair. I am wearing a dark green jacket. I have on black pants, and I'm rocking some of my favorite Nike kicks, the Air Max Scorpion. I also want to give an awesome shout out to our ASL interpreters. They're going to be here for a while. Their work is amazing, so thank you for being here. I'm also really excited to celebrate and honor Project Play. 10-year anniversary. Awesome, awesome. But what I'm really excited is that Nike has been a founding partner of Project Play for the last 10 years. And the work together that we do continues to be inspiring and continues to really be about getting kids to be active and playing and falling in love with sport for a lifetime. The work I'm doing at Nike right now, I'm obsessing sport for youth. My team, every day, we talk about how do we co-create a future of sport with the next generation where all kids experience joy and they all experience belonging when it comes to sport. It's so important. We want to be inclusive. We want to make it fun. We don't want to just be about traditional sport. We want to open up the aperture of play, movement, activity, so they see themselves playing sport for a lifetime. And that is super important. Research tells us that kids who are playing sport live happier and healthier lives, and they're just more successful in life. And it's super important to make sure that we all have a responsibility to make sure that we are helping them thrive and loving what they do. So, with that, we have an amazing roster of youth who are here today to talk to us because they are truly reimagining the future of sport. They are the change agents. They're telling us what they want and what they need, and we need to listen. Sport's changing. And so we're here today to hear from them and just learn more about who they are and what they're doing to change sport and what we can do to play with that. All right, you ready to meet our panelists? I need a little bit more. Are we ready to hear our panelists? All right, first, from New York City, welcome, sports journalist extraordinaire. I'm not even gonna say future sports journalist. She is a sports journalist now. Super excited to have her here right now, Pepper Persley.
Hi, everybody.
Next up, straight out of Colorado Springs, your hometown hero, breakdancer extraordinaire, Noah Braswell. And last but not least, please make some noise for track athlete, amazing track athlete, and Special Olympics Colorado Unified Partner, Chloe Johnson. so excited to be with you here today. And I first wanted to start off by asking you, what sports do you play?
Okay, I'll start. I play softball and basketball, and I'm also a black belt in Taekwondo.
All right, yes.
I run track. I run the 400 and 800. I'm also a unified partner for kickball, softball, soccer, basketball. Yeah.
And I think we have a state track meet tomorrow.
We do have a state track meet tomorrow. That is true.
But you, Noah?
I'm Noah, and I do breakdancing and flag football.
Awesome. Noah, how did you get introduced to the sports you're playing right now?
Flag football, my dad's a coach, so we kind of just started doing it a while ago. And breakdancing, I was a gymnast for like 8 years, and my mom saw that I wasn't liking it that much because it took a lot of time and practice. So we looked for something else that was similar, and we saw breakdancing and we tried it out, and it was really fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Go ahead, Pat. Chloe, what about you?
So I got involved with running. My mom's a runner, so I've been running most of my life. I tried out a few other sports, but I just like running in circles. I think it's the best. But I got involved with Special Olympics in 3rd grade. My school had a Red Shirt Rookies program, which is like the smallest program of Special Olympics. And I got to play unified sports. And so unified sports is an individual with an intellectual disability, an athlete is what we call them, and then an individual without an intellectual disability, so unified partner. And I just fell in love with unified sports. They're awesome.
Very cool. What about you? Yeah.
I think I have to credit playing sports to both my parents. So at least for softball, which I picked up more recently, my mom played softball, was incredible at it, and is now my Little League coach. So she's the reason why I love playing softball. And yeah, so and in terms of basketball, I've been playing for a lot longer, since I was around 6. And I don't know, something about having the basketball in my hands and being out there with my teammates has always brought me a lot of joy.
I love that. That's awesome. Chloe, what do you think you have learned by participating in sports?
I've learned a lot. I've definitely, through unified sports, I've learned a lot about patience and overcoming challenges. When you have people of all abilities on a court, you get to learn this is how we're going to overcome this challenge. This is how we're going to get through this play. And those are lessons that I now take into other aspects of my life, into my track career, and into my student council. And it's these lessons that teach us how we're going to become better people in the future, and how we're going to be more patient and be more kind.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Pepper?
I think just teamwork and confidence, and I think I wouldn't be here doing sports reporting if it wasn't for sports, because I played sports for a lot longer, and it just builds up my confidence. So I feel comfortable performing in front of lots of people, and that's something that's definitely came through sports.
Very cool. Very cool. What about you, Noah?
I learned patience and teamwork because you have to work with a team in battles you do. And I learned patience because it takes a long time to learn moves. And you have to start with basics.
Can we just talk about this really quickly? How long have you been breakdancing?
8 months.
8 months. Absolutely amazing. And I have to tell you, I think I now coach my daughter's 4th grade basketball team. And for me, the way I'm learning about sports for them is so different than the way I learned playing sports. And so thinking about all the things that you guys talked about that you're learning from sports, myself as a coach, I'm making sure that those kids are getting that, right? That they fall in love with sport, but they're also learning those values, patience, right? Teamwork, all those important things. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Chloe, I'd love to know more about, what drew you, or how did you get into unified sports?
So, like I said before, I joined in 3rd grade, and my schools are really awesome. Out here in Colorado, we have incredible, Special Olympics Colorado is, I would like to say, the best program out there. And so each elementary school, middle school, and high school each have different programs that you can join. And so I just kept bumping up, and now I'm in my high school has an incredible program, and I serve on the Youth Activation Committee for Special Olympics Colorado, and so I've made all these connections, and I just love the joy that exists in unified sports, and I'm addicted to it.
I love how you said the joy. That's awesome. That's great. So I think I heard you talk about how you bring your friends along in this journey with you. What does that look like?
So a lot of my friends don't play sports, and they don't get this aspect of competitive sports that I do. And unified sports, there's no pressure. It's everyone can play, and that's the incredible thing about it, is that we're inviting anyone to come out from all walks of life. And so I'll tell my friends all the time, like, come out, come to a game, come to a practice, and then they will join too. And so we all get to play together, and that's incredible.
That's awesome. Absolutely incredible. Noah, when you're breakdancing, what drew you, from going from gymnastics to breakdancing, what drew you to breakdancing?
What drew me
Yeah.
is, well, gymnastics being like, I already had a lot of skills and the strength for breakdancing, and like breakdancing, like I kind of saw some videos about breakdancing and what it could be, and I was like, oh, I should try it. And then I did, and I really liked it. So, yeah.
No, you can we were watching you in the backstage, and we were like, look at how he's using his arms, and he's on his head. And we're like, that's total gymnast work. So it's super awesome. Super awesome. Pepper, I would love to know from you, what stories do you think we need to hear, obviously as you being a sports journalist, what stories do you think we need to hear from you to really think about getting kids active and really thinking about loving play and sport?
Yeah, I think one of the questions that I always find some time to ask is advice, because that's something that's always inspired me, and I know for other kids, hearing it from the people who inspire them, what got them to where they are, and how we should keep going as kids. I think that's something that I think is really important. And I also think telling the stories of people like us, of kids who are doing it at our age, and I think that's really inspiring to other kids too.
Absolutely, and I know you talk to a lot of really popular athletes. Who do you think kids love to hear from?
I mean, that's a tough question. I think people who are on social media a lot, I think that way they can, they see them more commonly versus them being on TV, if they're on Netflix or on social media, that kind of stuff is a lot more interesting for kids, I know.
Totally,
Yeah.
I would agree. This is definitely that time frame for sure.
Yeah.
All right, last question for you all. I'd love to understand, what do you think we can do to change the sports system? If there's anything we could do to change the sports system for kids to love sport and play, what would it be? Go ahead.
Okay, I think the hardest thing for me as an athlete is trying to play multiple sports. I have a lot of things on my plate, and AAU makes it very hard to not just do one thing, even from my age, all the way through college or whatever, and till you become a professional. So I would love it if AAU teams were just more able to see that there's other options, and it's important for kids to not be selective.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Because
Because that's something. Yeah, it's something that my parents and I have struggled to find a team that would be supportive of everything that I do, because I love everything that I do. I don't want to just pick one yet.
No, nor should you have to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we need people to be more understanding of that, and other sports actually complement other sports, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I love that. What about you, Chloe?
I think for me, it would be, I think right now in youth sports, we're really focused on the outcomes and the wins and the losses and who gets the playing time. But the really unique part about unified sports is we don't care about the outcome. We don't even keep score. It's all about just getting the experience. And Special Olympics, our slogan is, let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. And that last part, let me be brave in the attempt, I think that's something that youth sports really needs, is
Can
let's
you
go
say
out
that
there
again?
and try it.
Yeah, can you say that again? I
Yeah,
love that.
it's let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
You can go ahead and clap for that. What about you, Noah? What do you think?
For me, it'd probably be picking a time to do it and how long you get to do it for that day and how much you get to do it. Because when I was doing gymnastics, the reason I didn't do it anymore is because it took up so much time at home. So I had no time to spend with my family because I had to do it all. I had all the the time used up in there. And then when I got home, I had to practice.
Right? Absolutely, right? You want to be able to, use your time appropriately, right? So I love that. I love that. I just want to say for a moment that, listening to them and hearing them, we have to do more of, right? Sports today is not what sports was when we were growing up, right? And so these are the kids who are the future. They're playing sports that are all over the spectrum, and it's so important for us to continue to listen to them as we're reimagining what the future of sport and play is. So thank you so much for being with us here today. And I don't want to be forceful, but let's stand up and give these kids, because they are the future, let's give them an awesome round of applause.